What if I told you that love isn't your choice? That invisible forces are secretly controlling who you fall for, bending your mind, your desires, even your heart, before you even notice. You like to think that love is a choice, that when your heart skips, it's because you decided it should. But the truth is far darker, far more insidious. Before you even realize it, unseen hands are tugging at the strings of your mind, orchestrating the way you feel, shaping the person you're drawn to, long before your conscious mind can intervene. These are not the gentle nudges of preference or taste. They are the ghostly remnants of your childhood. The hidden imprints left by every early bond, every whisper, every betrayal, every fleeting touch that made an indelible mark on the architecture of your desire. Your brain remembers what you cannot. It catalogs your fears, your unmet needs, your secret longings, and it quietly engineers the people who will awaken them. It starts subtly. You see someone and feel an immediate pull, a fascination you can't explain. Your mind searches for logic, for reasons, but there are none. The attraction isn't random. It is preordained, a reflection of your internal templates. Your subconscious is a master manipulator, scanning the environment for patterns it recognizes, for people who can mirror, soothe, or challenge the shadowy corners of your psyche. You might think you are choosing, but in reality you are being chosen by invisible forces that know your soul better than you do. These forces operate silently, without ceremony. They are hidden in a glance, a smile, the timbre of a voice, the curve of a gesture. Your conscious mind believes it is reasoning, making decisions, weighing options, but all the while, your subconscious is scripting the scene, pulling your attention, directing your gaze, igniting tiny sparks of longing that feel like magic but are nothing more than chemical and psychological puppetry. Every coincidence that draws you together, every laugh that feels fated, every moment of déjà vu is a stitch in a tapestry woven long before you arrived, and it's relentless. The mind does not forget its patterns, nor does it release its control willingly. It will lead you again and again to those who can touch your vulnerabilities, those who can trigger the deep, unspoken needs you've carried for years. Sometimes it leads you toward joy, sometimes heartbreak, but the destination is never truly yours to choose. The subconscious doesn't care about fairness, happiness, or morality. It cares only for resonance, echoes of your own psyche reflected back to you, like shadows in a mirror that you cannot look away from. We like to romanticize the idea of meeting the one, of love as serendipity. But what we fail to see is that the serendipity is orchestrated. The strings are pulled long before we even notice, by forces that reside in the dark recesses of the mind, where memory, fear, desire, and longing intertwine. Love, in its most primal sense, is a response to the echoes of our own psyche, manipulated by the unseen currents beneath conscious thought. You may smile, you may feel butterflies, you may swear it is fate, but in truth, you are following a path already mapped by the deepest corners of your mind. And when you finally realize it, it may be too late. You think you're in control when you fall in love. You think it's your heart, your choice, your conscious decision. But the truth is far more sinister. Love is a chemical conspiracy, a betrayal orchestrated by your own brain. Every glance, every touch, every whisper of affection triggers a storm of neurochemicals, flooding your mind with signals that feel like destiny but are nothing more than molecular manipulation. Dopamine surges, giving you the euphoric rush of excitement. Oxytocin binds, creating the illusion of intimacy. Adrenaline sharpens every heartbeat, every breath, every glance, convincing you that this person is essential, irreplaceable, inevitable. And all the while, your mind is convinced it is choosing, that this feeling is real. But it is not. It is a carefully engineered illusion, a biochemical spell that bends your will. Your body becomes an accomplice in its own deception. Every time you see them, your brain rewards you with pleasure, forging a craving that masquerades as love. You chase it, pursue it, surrender to it, believing it is desire that drives you, but it is desire's shadow, a shadow cast by chemicals you cannot control. You think you feel connection, but you are feeling the echo of your own biology, replayed and amplified. You mistake infatuation for soul-deep attachment, lust for destiny, and the chemical intoxication for emotional truth. The betrayal is invisible, insidious, and absolute. This is why love feels urgent, obsessive, unavoidable. The same chemicals that trick you into elation can later chain you to longing, anxiety, and despair. When the dopamine fades, when the oxytocin settles, the shadows of obsession remain. You are left questioning yourself, your choices, your sanity, while your own body reminds you of a connection you did not fully create, a bond you did not consciously choose. It is a biological trap, a silent hand that pulls you toward ecstasy only to leave you, teetering on the edge of craving, dependency, and vulnerability, and it is indiscriminate. These chemicals do not ask if you are ready, if your mind is prepared, if your heart is safe. They will seduce anyone, anywhere at any moment, and once the current begins, it is nearly impossible to resist. Your thoughts scatter, your focus narrows, your priorities bend, all in service to this invisible puppeteer inside your skull. Rationality is no match for chemistry. Logic cannot override the signals your neurons are firing. Even the strongest minds, the most careful hearts, are vulnerable to this silent tyranny. You may convince yourself that your love is real, that your choice is free, that your attachment is authentic. But beneath the surface, beneath every romanticized notion of destiny, lies a biochemical web you cannot escape. Your brain has rehearsed this story countless times, anticipating your reactions, rewarding your desires, reinforcing the illusion that you are in love. And when you surrender to it, as you inevitably will, it is never truly yours. Love is not just a feeling, it is a biological betrayal, a carefully crafted, irresistible illusion that enslaves even the smartest, strongest, most guarded hearts. You chase it, worship it, surrender to it, believing it is yours, when in fact, you are nothing more than a host to the chemicals that control you. And when the euphoria fades, the truth remains. You believe love is about finding the right person, someone who completes you, understands you, mirrors your soul. But what if I told you that much of what you think you see in them is not really them at all? We are master illusionists of our own hearts, projecting our deepest fears, our unspoken desires, and the shadows of our past onto another person and calling it love. The person you are drawn to is often less themselves and more a mirror of your own psyche, reflecting what you cannot confront within yourself. You are falling not for them, but for the echo of yourself that you see in them, the hidden fragments of your mind that you long to recognize and embrace. From the moment you meet, your mind is quietly rewriting reality. You overlook flaws, you reinterpret words, you exaggerate qualities, all to fit the narrative your subconscious craves. They become a canvas for your projections, a vessel for your unhealed wounds, your fantasies, your desperate need for validation. You believe in their perfection, their uniqueness, their destiny in your life, but in truth, it is your own psyche that has designed them to fill gaps, to soothe insecurities, to replay old stories that never ended. Love becomes a theater where you are both the playwright and the audience, trapped in a story that exists only in your mind. And the danger lies in the subtlety. You do not notice at first. It feels natural, it feels real, it feels fated. Every shared laugh, every glance, every touch reinforces the illusion. You mistake comfort for connection, fantasy for truth, and desire for understanding. The other person's authentic self is slowly overwritten by the version you need them to be. You may think you are intimate, that you are vulnerable, that you see them completely, but it is you who is casting shadows over reality, blinding yourself to the truth. The shadows you project are not always benign. Often, they are dark, jagged pieces of yourself you refuse to face, your loneliness, your fear of abandonment, your craving for control. You fall in love with someone who can hold those shadows for you, someone who can mirror your unresolved pain, and you mistake this reflection for destiny. Sometimes, this projection becomes a trap, a cycle of disappointment and obsession, because the person behind the illusion will never fully match the image you've built. You are chasing a ghost, a version of someone that only exists in your mind, while your heart clings to the hope that the illusion will somehow become reality. This is the cruel paradox of projection. It allows you to feel connection, intimacy, and passion, yet it blinds you to what is real. The more you invest in the illusion, the deeper you fall, and the more trapped you become in a love that exists as much in your mind as it does in the other person. You may believe that love transforms, redeems, or completes, but what it often does is expose the hidden landscapes of your psyche, bringing your shadow into focus and forcing you to confront the parts of yourself you have spent a lifetime hiding. You are not falling in love with them. You are falling in love with the darkness within yourself, projected outward, dressed in someone else's face. And the most terrifying truth is that this shadow will always be there, guiding, tempting, shaping, until you either see it or remain forever in its grip. And sometimes you never escape. You like to think that love happens when it's meant to, that it arrives at the perfect moment, as if destiny itself orchestrates the meeting. But the truth is far more unsettling. Love is a consequence of timing you do not control, a pattern woven from countless invisible threads of circumstance, environment, and chance. Every glance, every encounter, every shared space is calculated by forces you cannot perceive, forces that align your path with another in ways your conscious mind cannot comprehend. You may believe it is serendipity, but in reality, it is a subtle, persistent orchestration, a choreography dictated by unseen hands. These forces are everywhere, shaping who you meet and when, influencing decisions and behaviors before you even recognize them. A smile in the right cafe at the right second, a touch on a crowded street, a casual conversation that sparks recognition, all seemingly random, but each a carefully placed step in a sequence you cannot alter. Your mind believes in coincidence, your heart believes in fate, but both are deceived by timing. Timing is not neutral, it is merciless. It brings together those who can awaken the hidden currents of desire, and it separates those whose resonance is imperfect, leaving gaps filled with longing and what-ifs that echo long after the moment passes. And it is cruel. Timing can amplify obsession, create heartbreak, and ignite connections that are both irresistible and unsustainable. You may meet the right person in the wrong context and fall into a maelstrom of passion and regret. Or you may pass someone by, unaware of the fleeting alignment, and never realize what might have been. These invisible currents push and pull, nudging you toward intimacy or isolation, synchronizing your desires with opportunity, or deliberately misaligning them, all without warning, all without mercy. The mind struggles to comprehend it, the heart struggles to survive it, but the forces are unyielding, indifferent to suffering or joy. Timing is not just about moments. It is about readiness, environment, and the invisible echoes of prior experiences. Your own psychological state, shaped by trauma, habit, and expectation, interacts with the world around you to create these precise moments. A person may appear perfect, yet arrive when you are incapable of receiving them, or too late to matter. Love is not simply about attraction, it is about alignment, a collision of unseen variables that no human intention can fully dictate. Every encounter carries the weight of invisible calculation, every relationship is haunted by what could have been, every heartbeat is guided by the silent hand of circumstance. This is why some connections feel like destiny, while others slip through your fingers with unbearable regret. You are not fully in control. Your desires, your intentions, your plans are all subject to the precise mechanics of timing. And yet, because it feels personal, because it feels inevitable, you continue to believe in choice, in freedom, in fate. But it is all a careful illusion, designed by circumstances that do not notice your suffering, your longing, or your hope. Love arrives or departs, not because you are ready, not because it is fair, but because timing allows it. We often romanticize chance encounters and perfect timing, but the truth is darker. The unseen forces are deliberate, precise, and merciless. They manipulate proximity, context, and opportunity to create bonds you did not consciously choose and to withhold those you desperately need. They test patience, resilience, and obsession, forcing you to confront the fragility of desire and the cruelty of circumstance. And in the end, timing does not explain itself. And in the shadows of your own mind, you realize the truth. Love was never yours to choose. It only let you think it was.